Hello, church family. Well, it's Thursday of Holy Week, and we've been talking each day about what was happening in the life of Jesus in that last week before his crucifixion. And on Thursday, it seems that as you read the account, everything begins to take on an entirely new direction. You begin to get the sense that Jesus is looking at something that others can't quite see. It's almost as if you're talking to someone and they have that look in their eyes as if they're looking beyond you and seeing something that you can't see. And that's certainly what was happening in the life of Jesus. The most important thing that happens on Thursday in this last week of Christ is that he institutes what we call the Lord's Supper. So Jesus gathered with his disciples on Thursday evening, and there are a number of things that happen during this Last Supper with his disciples. One of the things, Jesus kind of outs Judas Iscariot, that he's going to betray him. He also predicts Peter's denials of him, and of course he talks about his death. They gathered to do this last Passover meal with his disciples. And the Passover, of course, was a celebration of the Jewish people of their deliverance from Egyptian bondage so many years before. And so every year, the Jewish people would gather together and celebrate their deliverance from Egyptian bondage. But on this particular evening, Jesus does something really totally unexpected. He takes that bread and he breaks the bread and he gives it to his disciples, and then he takes the wine, and he says that these elements are now taking on an entirely new meaning. As before, the Passover celebrated the deliverance of the Israelites from Egyptian bondage. He said now these elements are going to take on an entirely new meaning. It's going to symbolize the deliverance of all people from the bondage of sin and death that he was about to accomplish on the cross. And so he shared this with his disciples, and his disciples then took this on as a new commandment. And in the midst of that, Jesus said something really significant. He said to his disciples, and it's written in John chapter 13, verses 34 and 35. He said, "A new commandment I give to you, love one another. As I have loved you, so you must love one another. By this, everyone will know that you are my disciples, if you love one another." And you notice how many times in those two verses that Jesus says, love one another. He said, love one another. How? As I've loved you. And then he said, you must love one another. It's not an option, it's a command. You must love one another. And then he says that everyone is going to know that you're my disciples when you do what? When you love one another. The heart of our faith is love. And when we think about the Lord's Supper, we are reminded that it is in the context of love, a great sacrifice of love, that Jesus died for us. And it's in love that we share together as brothers and sisters in Christ. It's the cement that holds us together. I'm going to just ask that you would take a few moments today. Maybe step aside by yourself for a few moments and just reflect on what Jesus did for us on this day as he instituted the Lord's Supper, and he reminded us that it is love that forms the core of everything that we believe. And then I just want you to take a moment and reflect on this question. How am I doing at loving my brothers and sisters? I pray that you have a great Thursday evening as we continue to move toward Easter. We've got some exciting things planned on Easter, and I hope that you'll be a part of that. And we are having what we're calling Connect and Collect. So we're going to gather on Easter Sunday, on Sunday afternoon at 4 o'clock. Nobody's going to get out of their car. We're just going to drive through the church parking lot. Our church staff is going to be out there on the sidewalk. We just want to be able to wave, shout at you, say hello. And if someone has a need, we want to be able to pray for you. And so we'll have a way to do that. But we're going to keep it safe. But just come by the church, say hello, and then bring a bag of contributions that we're going to make to the food bank in New Braunfels. And so we posted on our website. You can go to our website and find the list of things, items that we will contribute. In fact, you'll find all this information about the Connect and Collect event on our website. So just go there and read that. I do want to add one thing that we had not mentioned. Talking about the Lord's Supper today, I really wanted to have the ability to do the Lord's Supper on Easter or on Good Friday, but we were unable to get the elements that we needed to do that until this week. And so here's what we're going to do. When you come by the church for the Connect and Collect event, we're going to have a table set up where you can stop and pick up the elements to do the Lord's Supper. And we're going to do the Lord's Supper not this coming Sunday, but the following Sunday. I think that's the 19th. We're going to do the Lord's Supper online. You and your family will gather as you watch the message, and we share in the message together on that Sunday, and we'll have a time where we will share in the Lord's Supper. We're going to provide those elements. They will be bagged, so you'll pick up a little cup. It has the cracker kind of sealed on top, and you can pick those up, and we're going to bag them, have them out there ready for you. All you have to do is stop and pick up the number that you need for your family. So I hope that you'll do that this Sunday. And so I'm looking forward to gathering with you this Sunday as we worship together, and then Sunday afternoon from 4 o'clock to 5 o'clock as we do Connect and Collect at our church. The last thing I want to mention, I just found out today that my older brother, 3 years older than me, is having some real health issues, and it's really, really not looking good for him. He's in ICU in Houston, and so I'm just feeling that sadness in me right now, and praying for my brother. Can't go see him, can't be there, but I would ask my church family, if you would, just to lift him up in prayer during this time. His name is Jerry. And I know that he and his family who love the Lord and trust Jesus will appreciate your prayers. Thank you a lot. Talk to you later. Look forward to seeing you on Sunday. God bless.